Have you ever felt like you're fighting a battle all alone? Overwhelmed by challenges that seem too big to handle? Whether it's a struggle in your career, a conflict in your relationships, or an internal battle with fear and anxiety, it's easy to feel outnumbered and outmatched. But what if I told you that you have the most powerful ally in the universe on your side? What if the commander of angelic armies was personally invested in your victory? Today, we are going to explore one of the most powerful and comforting names of God in the entire Bible, Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of Hosts. This name isn't just an ancient title. It's a profound revelation of God's character and His role in our lives. Sabaoth is a Hebrew word that means armies or hosts, so when we call God Jehovah Sabaoth, we are acknowledging Him as the Lord of armies, the supreme commander-in-chief of all the forces in heaven and on earth. This includes the angelic armies, the stars, the planets, and all of creation. He is the ultimate authority, the one who marshals celestial forces for His purposes. This name appears over 285 times in the Old Testament, often during times of great national crisis or personal desperation for the people of Israel. It was a name they clung to when they faced impossible odds. One of the first times we see it is in the story of Hannah in 1 Samuel chapter 1. Hannah was heartbroken, facing the deep pain of infertility and the constant taunting of her rival. She was in a deep personal battle. Where did she turn? The Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 1-3 that her husband Elkanah would go up yearly to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord of hosts in Shiloh in her deepest despair. Hannah goes to the temple and pours out her soul before the Lord of hosts. She wasn't just praying to a distant, abstract God. She was appealing to the commander of heaven's armies, the one with the power to intervene, to change her circumstances, to fight the battle that she could not win on her own. She was calling on the God who commands the forces of the universe to step into her personal story. And what happened? God heard her cry and answered her prayer with a son, Samuel, who would become one of Israel's greatest prophets. This shows us something crucial. Jehovah Sabaoth isn't just concerned with cosmic battles or the destinies of nations. He is intimately involved in our personal struggles. The commander of legions of angels cares about your broken heart, your financial worries, and your health concerns. He is the Lord of hosts for you. Another powerful example comes from the prophet Isaiah. In Isaiah 1:20, God declares, "Therefore the Lord says, the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will get relief from my adversaries and avenge myself on my enemies." Here the title Lord of Hosts is paired with the mighty one of Israel. This emphasizes God's sheer, unstoppable power. He isn't just a commander with a big army. He Himself is mighty. He is the one who brings justice and defends His people. When the forces of darkness, injustice, or oppression rise up against you, remember this verse. Jehovah Sabaoth sees, He knows, and He is a God who acts on behalf of those who trust in Him. He is the ultimate defender, the one who ensures that in the end, righteousness will prevail. So, what does it mean for us today to know God as Jehovah Sabaoth? It means we can shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on the size of our problems, we can focus on the size of our God. The battle might look daunting from our point of view, but from His, it's already won. The same God who commands galaxies and leads angelic armies is the one who walks with you every single day. When you feel anxious, remember that the Lord of armies is your peace. When you feel weak, remember that the Mighty One is your strength. When you feel like you are fighting alone, picture the unseen reality that you are surrounded by the heavenly host, commanded by God Himself, all fighting on your behalf. This is not just a metaphor. It's a spiritual reality. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Ephesians 6 that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. These are spiritual battles, and they require a spiritual commander. That commander is Jehovah Sabaoth. Let's look at the story of David and Goliath, a young shepherd boy against a giant warrior. The odds were impossible. But listen to David's declaration of faith in 1 Samuel 17:45. You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. David didn't trust in his own strength or his simple sling. He placed his trust entirely in the name of Jehovah Sabaoth. He knew that the battle wasn't his to win. It was God's. He was simply an instrument in the hands of the commander. By invoking this name, David was aligning himself with the ultimate power in the universe, making Goliath's size and strength completely irrelevant. This is the confidence we can have when we face our own Goliaths, be it addiction, depression, a seemingly impossible situation at work, or a relational crisis. We can step onto the battlefield not in our own name, but in the name of the Lord of hosts. We are declaring that our victory doesn't depend on our resources, our cleverness, or our strength. It depends entirely on Him. So how do we practically apply this truth? First, by praying with this name in mind. When you pray, consciously address God as Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts. Remind yourself of who you are talking to. This will build your faith and change how you see your circumstances. Instead of begging a reluctant deity, you are reporting for duty to your commander, confident that he has a battle plan for your victory. Second, by surrendering control. A good soldier doesn't tell the commander how to win the war. A good soldier trusts the commander's strategy and follows orders. Trusting Jehovah Sabaoth means letting go of our need to control the outcome. It means trusting His timing, His methods, and His plan, even when it doesn't make sense to us. It means being obedient to His word and the leading of His Spirit. Third, by living with courage. Fear and anxiety are tools the enemy uses to paralyze us. But the knowledge that the Lord of armies is with us is the ultimate antidote to fear. As Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" When we truly grasp that the Creator and Commander of the universe is on our side, fighting for us, courage begins to replace fear. We can step out in faith, take risks for His kingdom, and face challenges head-on, not because we are brave, but because He is mighty. Think about the prophet Elisha and his servant in 2 Kings chapter 6. The Aramean army had surrounded their city, and the servant was terrified. He cried out, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" Elisha's response is the essence of what it means to trust Jehovah Sabaoth. He calmly replied, "Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Then Elisha prayed, "O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and he saw the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. He saw the army of Jehovah Sabaoth ready for battle. That army is with you too. The challenges you see are real, but the spiritual reality is even more real. There are more with you than are against you. The commander of the heavenly armies has dispatched his forces to protect you, to guide you, and to fight for you. So, whatever battle you're facing today, big or small, I want to encourage you to lift your eyes from the problem and fix them on your commander, Jehovah Sabaoth. Call on His name, trust in His power, surrender to His plan, and walk forward in the courage that comes from knowing that the victory is already His. You are not alone. You are on the side of the Lord of armies. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this look into the name Jehovah Sabaoth has strengthened your faith and encouraged your heart. If this message resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that helps us discover the depth and power of who God is. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, remember who fights for you.